I think you all know the drill by now. I've already discussed what the top 10 bestest songs of 2000 to 2010 are, and now it's time to talk about the top 10 bestest songs of 2011. And boy, am I excited for this video in this series. 2011 was the height of the club boom. Although 2009 is generally regarded as the year the club boom began, and was really starting to explode in 2010, 2011 is the year when it was undeniably at its most popular. Most of what the public was listening to during this time was electropop and EDM, from artists like LMFAO, David Guetta, Kesha, the Black Eyed Peas, and more. Sure, not every song popular in 2011 was a club boom banger. There were a couple of ballads like Christina Perri's Jar of Hearts, and a few other songs that don't really fit into the dance pop mold, including some that I'll be talking about on this list. But in general, 2011 might just be, on average, the most upbeat year for Billboard hits since the Hot 100's inception. And I gotta say, listening to the 2011 year-end list for this video really was a treat. There were so many club boom bangers during this time, with infectiously catchy melodies and adrenaline-pumping instrumentals that just made me go wild when I hear them. I turned 12 years old in 2011, and I definitely remember this time when these songs and artists were at their most popular. Of all the year-end lists I've listened to for these best hit songs videos, this is hands down the one that I had the most fun listening to, and not just due to personal nostalgia. Honestly, I think 2011 is the best year for mainstream music of my lifetime. Like with the previous two videos in this series, I had more than 50 songs, over half the list, as contenders for the best list. There were some amazing songs that were popular this year, and slight spoiler, the number one best hit song of 2011 is one of the top 10 bestest songs of my lifetime. No, really. I could have easily made this the top 20, 30, or even 40 best hit songs of 2011. That's how many great songs there were during this time. And despite some boomer music critics during this time complaining about how these songs were all computerized and not using real instruments, or how these so-called artists can't really sing, they just use auto-tune. I still really enjoy these songs all these years later, and can certainly reminisce on this time in music history. It's crazy to believe that 2011 was 15 years ago, and really makes me feel old. But now it's time to feel young again by talking about the best hit songs of that year. First things first though, a few reminders as always. Only songs that debut on the 2011 year-end Hot 100 list are eligible. So don't expect any songs not on the list, or these 10 songs that already made the 2010 list to be here. If you want to hear me gush over If I Die Young by the band Perry, go watch the 2010 video. Speaking of which, go watch my previous best and worst hit songs videos, especially those in this top 10 bestest songs of 2019 series, to avoid any more spoilers for songs I talked about in those videos. I will not be doing a top 10 worst hit songs of 2011 video, but if you are curious as to what the songs on that list are, here you go. Last but not least, this video is just my opinion. Please don't get upset at me if I put a song you hate on this list, or my ordering doesn't 100% match yours. Feel free to tell me in the comments what your favorite hit songs of 2011 are. Okay, without further ado, let's get into my choices of the top 10 best hit songs of 2011. Kicking this list off, we have a song by a couple of European artists that took almost 2 years to cross over to the USA. Not the first time a European song's taken that long to cross over stateside, but there is something a little odd about talking about a song originally released in February 2009 on my list of the best songs of 2011. But I'm glad the song did eventually cross over to this side of the Atlantic, because it was well worth the wait. Stereo Love is a very pleasant piece of Euro dance that, despite technically being a dance song, feels very relaxing. Not quite in an ambient or bluesy way, but the trance production does keep the song from feeling too peppy. It also never sounds too processed, despite all the electronic sounds heard throughout the song. I also love the accordion hook played on the song, most notably on the chorus. It sounds romantic, but also distinctly European, which, while far from the first song that had crossed over to America, doesn't happen all that often. I could definitely see the song being played in Paris, France, the city of love, or maybe in Venice, Italy. I could just imagine floating down the Grand Canal with my arm around the love of my life, and hearing someone in a nearby boat playing the accordion melody from this song. Also helping to sell that enticing feeling is Vika Zigulina's soft, reverby vocals. She sounds really in love, and like she never wants to leave her partner's side. If you couldn't guess from the title, or my description of it so far, Stereo Love is a love song about telling your partner not to let go of your love, that they blow your mind, want to hold onto their body, and saying that you need them more than ever when you're not with them. Pretty standard for a love song, but it just works so incredibly well. It's a song that you could close your eyes to while in the arms of your partner, which is definitely the vibe I was going for. Of course, it is a song that you could still dance to, like Be With You by Enrique Iglesias, my number one best song of 2000. It's a song that sounds both upbeat and slow at the same time, and depending on your mood, you could gravitate towards either tempo. Really glad this was a top 20 hit in both the USA and Canada. Although in Canada, there was an alternate version featuring Canadian singer Mia Martina that actually hit the top 10 here, and I do remember hearing that version on the radio a few times around 2011 to 2012. That version is pretty good too, although I do slightly prefer the original version with Vika Zigulina. It may not have hit the top 10 in America, but it does make my top 10 bestest songs of 2011 list. It's a song that I certainly love.
There's something about, baby, you and I.
First time talking about a Lady Gaga song in this series, and spoiler, it won't be the last. While I do like all of Lady Gaga's 2009 and 2010 year-end hits, Stiff Competition kept them on my best hit songs for those years. I think 2009's Paparazzi and 2010's Alejandro both came the closest. Well, in 2011, she had 3 more year-end hits, and while I do like both Born This Way and The Edge of Glory, again, Stiff Competition beat them out. However, the one year-end hit of hers so far that managed to rise above and be among the top 10 best hits of the year is You and I. It's also arguably her most unusual hit she had put out up to that point. At the time, Lady Gaga was mostly known for making dance pop and electro pop, and while you do hear electronic stints and vocal effects here, this song is mainly an arena rock song with a hint of country to it. And honestly, that's a big factor as to why this is Lady Gaga's best hit song from her first 2 albums. The arena rock sound is just awesome, from the stomping beat, sampled from Queen's We Will Rock You, to even the electric guitar played by Brian May of Queen, including that guitar solo on the bridge. Lady Gaga can absolutely pull that sound off. She is a very versatile singer, and although her electropop sound is what most people know her for, and most of her well-known songs are electropop, she would end up proving that she could pull off other genres just as well. And the lyrics reinforce a more rock, country-adjacent sound, being about coming back to this Nebraska town to reunite with an old partner after 2 years of not seeing them and not wanting to leave again without them. There's just something about this place and this person that's absolutely irresistible. To quote the title lyric, there's something about baby, you and I. Many of the song's lines do give you that country/rock and roll imagery. Beyond the old Nebraska guy line, there's also you taste like whiskey when you kiss me, or in the corner of my bar with your high heels on, or put your drinks up for Nebraska. Alcohol and drinking are pretty common themes in a lot of country songs, as is religious imagery, as enforced the line on the bridge that the only 3 men you serve your whole life are your father, Nebraska, and Jesus. And the rock and roll lyrics on the second verse, with the lines, I couldn't listen to a Joker rock and roll, or on my birthday, you gave me a heart of gold. The latter possibly being a reference to the 1972 Neil Young song Heart of Gold. Overall, it's just a rocking tune all around, and one that I'm happy to praise. Awesome song. This was originally going to just be an honorable mention, but after listening to it again, I realized the song kicks way too much ass to not be on the list proper. This was Lupe Fiasco's other year-end hit after Superstar, featuring Matthew Santos on the 2008 list. Superstar is okay, I guess, but it didn't really stick with me too much. The Show Goes On the other hand, yeah, there was no way I wasn't going to talk about it in this video. It does sort of feel like a spiritual successor to Superstar, since that was also a song about not having any fear being in front of a microphone and crowd, being a superstar, and putting on a show for an audience. But The Show Goes On manages to improve on what Superstar did tenfold. Firstly, it's way more fun and energizing than Fiasco's previous hit, which fits for a song about performing in The Show Going On. Matthew Santos' hook on Superstar felt a bit too slow and dull for my liking, but on The Show Goes On, it's not only more upbeat, but also the more memorable melody, interpolating that of Modest Mouse's Float On. But I think it sounds even more awesome here. Not crediting J.R. Get Money, the guest singer who sings the chorus, puts more of the focus on Fiasco, which I feel like fits with the lyrics, as he raps about being mistreated by his record executives, refusing to let his plans go to waste, shouting at his respect for various people, and eventually overcoming his fear and touring around the world. No matter where in the world he's on stage at, he's putting his hands up and continuing to persevere. It could be interpreted as his own personal story of rising to become a global superstar, or sympathizing with people struggling around the world. He just mentioned that Gaza Strip is one of the places on his world tour in the second verse, which feels especially resonant in the 2020s. It's definitely meant to feel inspirational, both for the audience and the person on stage. No matter what struggles you've been through, when you come up on that stage, give it your all. All your aspirations finally led to this moment. And if all that isn't enough to make you fall in love with this song, the electric guitar and horns certainly will. It's certainly awesome from an instrumentation standpoint. I do wish maybe there was some audience cheering on this song like Superstar had to reinforce the feeling of performing a live show, but it's still an awesome song all the same. It's hands down the best hip-hop song on the 2011 year-end list. Well, unless you count the next song on this list.
Everybody just have a good time. Yeah.
If there's any song that I think perfectly captures the infectious partying energy of the club boom during the early 2010s, it has to be Party Rock Anthem. Just like CNC Music Factory's Gonna Make You Sweat Everybody Dance Now, Party Rock Anthem is a song that's specifically designed to get your adrenaline pumping and make you want to dance. If you could say that you were able to sit completely still while listening to this song and didn't feel compelled to get out of your seat at all, you're a bull-faced liar. And as someone who lived during this time, I definitely remember when this song, and LMFAO, was at its most popular. This song was absolutely inescapable during 2011, and I'm a little surprised it wasn't the #1 biggest hit song of the year and was just beat out. Seriously, everything about this song is awesome. The insanely catchy melody, the speaker-blowing breakdown, the dancing lyrics, the tight flows rapped by Redfoo and Sky Blue, and the bridge sung by Lauren Bennett. You can just tell from the drum beat that starts off the song that you're in for a wild ride. This song was also popular for introducing the shuffle into the mainstream. Honestly, I think "Every Day I'm Shuffling" might just be the catchphrase for the year 2011 as a whole. Heck, even if you don't know how to shuffle, the infectious rhythm is almost hypnotic with how much it makes you feel like going wild at the club. This song is an absolute must-have for any dance party or nightclub. Even the club boom hits of 2010 don't go as hard as Party Rock Anthem did. 2011 was the absolute peak of the club boom, and I'll be damned if any other year could ever top it. Party Rock Anthem is an absolute banging tune, and certainly a hell of a lot better than LMFAO's other hits, Sexy and I Know It. Shame that those were LMFAO's only year-end hits, and that they completely disappeared after 2012. I Wish Champagne Showers, the single in between their two #1 hits, had made the year-end list too. That song actually did moderately well in Canada, but didn't chart in America. And like Party Rock Anthem, it's another club boom party banger. Give that song a listen too if you haven't heard it. It would have definitely made this list too if it had been a year-end hit. As for Party Rock Anthem, to say that it lives up to its title is a massive understatement. Honestly, I'm struggling to come up with much more to say about it. Like a few other songs I've discussed in this series, it's one of those songs where it's hard to articulate why I love it beyond it just sounds awesome. When I hear it, I definitely have a good time. As awesome as Party Rock Anthem is, I don't even think it was the best club boom hit of 2011. That goes to this song, You Make Me Feel. It may not be the most remembered or quintessential club boom anthem of the year, but I do think it sounds the catchiest, and is a 2011 club boom hit I'm most likely to come back to. Heck, I've been coming back and listening to this song plenty of times since 2011. Even some songs higher up in this list I haven't been listening to as regularly as this one. That tells you how much the song has stuck with me 15 years later, and shows how much I love it. This was the second of Cobra Starship's 2 year-end hits. The first one being Good Girls Go Bad by Light and Meester from 2009. And like that song, You Make Me Feel has a very similar upbeat club feeling to it, except with an even catchier melody. Heck, I dare say this is the catchiest year-end hit of 2011. Everything about this song, from the unforgettable melody, drum machine, synths, and funky guitar, most prominently heard in the second verse, helped to make such an infectious tune. Also, despite clearly being an electropop sound, and definitely having some vocal effects here, they don't sound as processed as they did on Good Girls Go Bad, which helps to make it sound less robotic, but still a blast to hear at the club. Plus, it sounds more than twice as fun as Good Girls Go Bad. I also like how the featured female singer on You Make Me Feel, Sabi, has an even more prominent presence here than Light and Meester did on Good Girls Go Bad. On that song, we didn't hear the female singer at all until the second verse. On You Make Me Feel, Sabi is present throughout practically the entire song. Heck, her voice is the very first voice you hear in the song, even before Gabe Saporta, the lead singer of Cobra Starship. And she has excellent chemistry with Saporta. Like Good Girls Go Bad, the lyrics work perfectly for a song with a featured female singer opposite the male lead singer. Saporta sings the verses about how he's been all around the world looking for her, knows what she needs, and how she's what he's been missing and dreaming of. And Sabi sings a pre-chorus about how she's everything he wants, and how he should tell her what he wants so they can do what he likes. And of course, they both sing the chorus and bridge together. Maybe the chorus isn't really that impressive lyrically, with it just repeating the lines, You make me feel that, and You make me feel so, in between a bunch of la-las. But for a song meant for dancing at the club, I can forget the lyrical simplicity. Suffice to say, this song makes me feel awesome. Remember how I said that Party Rock Anthem was just beat out for the #1 best hit song of the year? Yeah, this is on to beat it out. And quite honestly, it is a song that you wouldn't expect to be a hit during this time. Again, this was the height of the club boom, dominated by electropop and EDM bangers. Was anyone predicting that a blues/soul song by a British singer would end up becoming the most popular song of the year? Well, not only was that the case, but Adele's album 21 would end up having 3 songs hit #1 on the Hot 100, and was the #1 biggest album of both 2011 and 2012. And Rolling in the Deep was one of her 2 #1 singles in the year 2011. Now, I'm probably gonna make some people upset when I say this, but I've always found Someone Like You to be kind of boring. Don't get me wrong, I don't hate it, and I understand why a lot of people love it and consider it to be one of the best hit songs of the year, but neither the melody nor stripped back piano ever really did much for me, even despite Adele's emotional vocals and lyrics about an old friend settling down with someone else. Rolling in the Deep, on the other hand, this is a song I've always loved. The plucking guitar strings and thumping drum beat help enforce that rocky blues feeling to it, yet Adele's soulful vocals and backing piano restrain it from being too heavy, even despite her impressive belting on the chorus. It's not a dance song, especially compared to what the rest of pop radio was playing at this time, but there is still a foot-tapping quality to the instrumentation, and the catchy melody also helps to make it feel upbeat, though not a club banger sort of way. It almost sounds like a song straight out of the 60s. I could easily imagine Etta James or Ella Fitzgerald singing this song, and it would sound just as great. And as for the lyrics, they're about a former partner, and still retaining the scars of their love, and how you and them could have had it all. There's a feeling of revenge in your heart, as you feel compelled to tell others how this person broke your heart, turn your sorrow around by telling their story, and how they'll reap what they sow. You could argue it's petty and vengeful, but it still works really well. Plus, how can you hate a song with such an amazing singer and great instrumentation? I'm definitely glad Rolling in the Deep was such a huge year-end hit in 2011, which is more than I can say for Chasing Pavements. Additionally, this song would go on to be the first of a few #1s Adele would accumulate over the next decade. I'll be talking about at least one more of those later in the series, so stay tuned.
Just now got the feeling that we're meeting for the first time.
This is a song that I don't think I've heard anyone else bring up in terms of hit songs from 2011. Of course, this was far from the most popular song that came out this year, but even some songs lower on the year-end list seem to be remembered more than this one. I don't imagine this song will make many other people's best hit songs of 2011 lists, let alone the top 5, but for me, yeah, this just had to be here. Like Break Even, which I talked about in the last video, For the First Time is yet another great song by The Script, but this song is even better than Break Even. The piano underlying the song, the guitars help the song hit a crescendo in the chorus, a fairly catchy melody, including those ooh vocals in the post-chorus. Those things already make the song better than Break Even, but what really propels the song into top 5 territory are the lyrics. It's a song about two people in a relationship who are facing struggles, both in the relationship and their personal lives. The woman's awake in bed, heartbroken. The narrator's at a bar drinking away their pain. The woman needs a narrator, but the narrator's struggling to get a job. I feel you, man. They're trying to make the relationship work, but times are hard for them. But they're doing their best, and are starting by drinking wine, talking all night, and are finally getting the feeling of meeting each other for the first time. Despite how difficult things are, there's still a glimmer of hope, as they still feel like things will turn around, both in the relationship and the real world. You could tell this was a song inspired by the Great Recession, which happened only a couple years before the song came out. Hence lyrics about getting a new job in the unemployment line, or losing your job but not losing your pride. And it seems struggling with your employment is also affecting your relationship. But when you have almost nothing and are close to hitting rock bottom, that's when you realize that your partner is all you have to hold on to. It's bad enough that you have to eat food off the floor and can't pay your rent, but losing the one you love is even worse. And that's when you realize how much your partner means to you and how much you desperately want to salvage your relationship, since it's the one thing you still have left. You and your partner will make it through these rocky times and have a secure future, one where you're both happy together and have a stable income. To quote the final line of the song, "Don't give up on me, baby." Really well written and meaningful song. If you haven't heard it yet, go listen to it for the first time.
Baby, you're a firework. Come on, show 'em why you work.
I said in the last video in this series that Teenage Dream was the second best single from Katy Perry's album of the same name. Well, here's the best single from that album, and very likely Katy Perry's best single ever. It's hands down her best hit song. It's also the third biggest song of the year, and is coincidentally my pick for the third best hit song of the year. Not the first time a song's position on the year-end list and spot on my best hit songs list for that year were the same, but it is the first time that the top 3 biggest hit songs of the year all made my top 10 best hit songs of the year. And yeah, what isn't to love about Firework? It's a very inspirational song, with lyrics about self-empowerment. Perry sings that the listener doesn't have to feel like a waste of space or like nobody cares about them. Show the world what you're worth and leave everyone in awe. You can choose a path for yourself that leads you to greatness. The future has something planned for you, so don't ever feel like you're worthless. It sort of reminds me of Beautiful by Christina Aguilera, which was also a self-empowerment anthem that could be relatable for anyone who's struggling with feelings of self-doubt. And while I do slightly prefer that song over this one, Firework is still a fantastic song with a similar message. The metaphor of calling the listener a firework fits with the message as, just like how everyone will be enamored by the sight of fireworks lighting up the sky, people can become enamored by what you've got to show. And the song's music video showcases people in various situations taking the message to heart. A pair of siblings with squabbling parents, with the older brother eventually confronting them, an overweight girl at a pool party gaining the confidence to strip down and jump in the pool, a cancer patient afraid to walk out in public due to being bald but gaining the courage to do so, a gay guy seeing another guy at a bar and eventually kissing him, a street performer getting mugged but winning the thugs over with magic tricks. It's yet another song that's very universal and relatable to many people. This song also features Perry's best vocal performance with her incredible belting on the chorus, which is sure to lift up people's spirits. And the strings that we hear in the song that help build with that explosive, no pun intended, chorus also help make it feel more inspirational. It's not a full-on operatic pop song like Beautiful was, but still sounds just as uplifting and still fitting in with the rest of Katy Perry's dance pop output that pop listeners were used to. It's hands down the best song I've heard from Katy Perry, and certainly leaves me in awe.
I go back to December, turn around and make it all right.
I think most of you knew this one was going to be here. This is my 5th time talking about Taylor Swift's song in this series, and it's no surprise that I love most of her music, especially back when she was still country. It helps my sister was such a huge fan of her and played her music all the time, since my family owned all of Swift's albums up to 1989 on CD, including Speak Now, the album this song is from. And while I didn't hear the song growing up quite as much as I did Mine, which made the 2010 year-end list, or Mean, which wasn't a year-end hit at all, Back to December is still a really great Taylor Swift song, even if it's not quite her best song. The gentle guitar plucks and strings give the song a very soft, wistful feeling to it, which almost makes the song feel nostalgic and looking upon the past. And given the lyrics, that probably wasn't a coincidence. It's a song about catching up with an ex-partner whom you haven't seen in a while. You and them small talk for a little bit, but you can tell their guard is up and you know exactly why. Unfortunately, your past relationship with them didn't end well. You still think about the good times you had with them and you still miss them. It was during the summer and fall that you were still together, but as the weather turned cold, so did the relationship. So you swallow your pride, apologize for that December night when the breakup happened, and say you're sorry for that. If you could, you'd go back to that night right and redo everything to make things right. You didn't realize what you had until it was gone. It's not a song about wanting this person to take you back, it's a song about wanting them to forgive you. Although the song does allude to the possibility of rekindling the relationship again on the bridge with the lyrics, maybe this is wishful thinking, probably mindless dreaming, if we loved again, I swear I'd love you right. But it's not outright begging them to take you back, it's simply leaving the door open for that slim chance. It's pretty standard lyrical content for a Taylor Swift song, someone who would gain a reputation for writing songs about her various relationships. And the male voice harmonizing behind Swift's voice sounds great. Definitely not our first song to have male harmonization, but I think it especially works in this case, since it gives the impression that both the man and woman in the relationship are apologizing to each other simultaneously. Perhaps the ex-partner being sung to feels similarly to the narrator, but even if they don't get back together, it's still a very humble and poetic song. Although there was another song on the 2011 year list that was even better than this one. But before I get to that song, let me talk about 5 honorable mentions.
My heart's a stereo. It beats for you, so listen close.
This is yet another song in the this was originally number 10, but then another song jumped it, so it's my number 11 category. Stereo Hearts is a really good pop rap song that sort of combines pop with an old school hip hop sound. Adam Levine's catchy chorus and bridge juxtapose the rap flows of Travis McCoy on the verses. Unlike most mainstream hip hop, there's no swearing, and the production with the piano, drum beat, and strings sound pretty good. That certainly makes it appealing to pop radio, as do the lyrics of your heart being a stereo that beats for your partner, how they can depend on you, and ask if they'll stay loyal to you, not get mad at you. It's a song that I definitely want to sing along to on a stereo. As awful of a human being as Chris Brown is, he has made some admittedly good songs. And honestly, I think Yeah 3 Times might be his best ever song. It fits up perfectly with the club boom of 2010 and 2011 with its electro house bass line and synths, fitting with it being a fun partying song about letting go of your problems and just dancing with a girl and drinking. And unlike a lot of other Chris Brown songs, his voice isn't drenched in autotune here, thank goodness. It's just a really fun song all around, perfect for playing at the club. I'm a firm believer in separate art from the artist, and I believe even domestic abusers are capable of making good art. But speaking of good songs by artists who are not good people, I've never been a fan of Kanye West, even before he was outed as being an anti-Semite and a supporter of a certain anti-Semitic German dictator. But All the Lights is hands down the best thing I've ever heard from him. The instrumentation sounds absolutely fantastic with the horns, drum beat, and piano played by Elton John. It certainly wouldn't make you bob your head and or rock out to. The lyrics about being in the spotlight and the consequences of being famous are really profound, and all the artists who lend their vocals to the song, most notably Rihanna and Kid Cudi, really make this feel like an ensemble song. Very deserving to have won both Best Rap Song and Best Rap Song Collaboration at the 2012 Grammys. Awesome song.
We'll be forever young, young. You know we're superstars. We are who we are.
Kesha got way too much hate in the early 2010s. Sure, she had a couple of duds like Blah Blah Blah, but most of her songs were pretty catchy and fun, including this song, We Are Who We Are. The electropop sound is fun, the melody is memorable, and probably the catchiest I've ever heard from Kesha, especially in the chorus. And the lyrics about being yourself and having a good time doubles both a club boom anthem and is yet another inspirational anthem. Heck, the LGBTQ+ community have also embraced the song as a pride anthem. But even if you're cis-hetero, it's still a fun club boom banger, and Kesha's sleazy party girl image fits it perfectly. It's a great song, and the second best hit song Kesha would have. Hint, hint.
I'm coming home. I'm coming home. Tell the world I'm coming home.
Wow, another hip-hop song? You know, as much as I've criticized mainstream hip-hop in many of my worst hit songs videos before, 2011 had way better than average hip-hop. Coming Home is a really good song, thanks to the light chorus by Skylar Grey, pleasant production with the strings, piano, and horns, and the lyrics. Diddy raps about balancing his hip-hop career with his personal life, acknowledging his mistakes, how money can't buy happiness, and wanting to get back home, where his loved ones are, and who have forgiven him for his mistakes. Maybe that sounds a bit awkward in hindsight, since what we now know about Diddy is arguably unforgivable, but it's still a very pleasant and humble song. That's 5 honorable mentions. But I'm not quite ready to talk about the number 1 best song of 2011 yet. Let's talk about another 5 honorable mentions, except these are ineligible honorable mentions. Songs that didn't make the 2011 year-end list for one reason or another, and thus weren't eligible for this list, but are still really good songs that deserve a mention, and would have made this top 10 if any of them had made the year-end list. So let's go through these.
I could skip around and get along with you. Hello,
Here's 2011's song in the EDM songs that were huge in Europe but not so much in America category. Though this one actually was moderately successful in the USA, peaking number 46 on the Hot 100, which unfortunately wasn't high enough to make the year-end list. It's a really fun track thanks to its infectious tune, electric guitar, stuttering vocal effects, hand claps, and lyrics about how you just came to say hello at this party, and even though you think someone is cute, you're not interested in pursuing a full relationship with them. Also, Dragonette is a Canadian band, so bonus points there. This song actually hit the top 10 in Canada, and would have made this list top 10 too if it had been a hit in America as well.
I just can't let you go. I just can't let you go. Oh, no.
This is a song that I remember hearing a YouTube ad back in 2011 and then immediately decided to download because I loved it, and I still do. It's a really fun, catchy bubblegum pop song thanks to its beatboxy production, bright, cheery sound, catchy melody, and lyrics about saying goodbye to a friend who's gonna be leaving town soon and wishing you could make them stay. Certainly better than the crap Monica would later make, like I'm Michael Lesbian. By the way, the solo version of the song is pretty hard to find. It's currently not available on Spotify. I've actually uploaded it to YouTube for you to listen to. Check that out to hear it, but I'll take it down if it becomes legally available again.
Heart is so jet lagged. Heart is so jet lagged.
I actually wanted to talk about this song in my Canadian songs video from 2022, but it was technically a hit in Australia, and one rule for that list was that I couldn't talk about songs that were hits outside of Canada. However, that gave me an opportunity to talk about it here instead. The guitar melody has a catchy pop rock sound, and Pierre Bouvier and Natasha Bedingfield have great chemistry as they play two lovers, with one away on the other side of the world, have difficulty coordinating their time zones, miss each other, and can't wait to reunite. Shame that only the last Simple Plan song I talked about in this series, it didn't chart down south. And speaking of a Canadian band song that didn't reach America,
You can't stop this, and I must insist that you haven't had enough. You haven't had enough.
as I mentioned before, I don't want to talk about any songs I already discussed in any of my previous videos in these ineligible honorable mentions slots. And while not quite as good as Fallout, which I talked about in my Canadian songs video, or either of the two Marianas Trench songs I talked about in the previous two videos in this series, Haven't Had Enough is still a great pop rock song with an element of electronic thanks to the synths and upbeat melody. And Josh Ramsey's expressive vocals, including him holding out the note for so long on the bridge, and lyrics about still wanting someone despite the relationship not working and manipulating them to staying, making a song I can't get enough of.
'Cause I'm on fire, 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 fire tonight.
And here's one more Canadian song that virtually no Americans have ever heard. Fun fact, this song actually almost made my Canadian songs video, but it just missed a cut. In hindsight, I'm kind of glad it did, so that I can talk about it here instead. Fire by Raghav is just a super fun track about dancing at the club, tearing up the floor, and saying they're on fire and are burning the place down. Lyrically, it's not too different than, say, DJ Got Us Falling in Love, but the bright guitar line, catchy as hell melody, irresistible groove, and Raghav's vocals make it a really fun listen. Despite having some electropop elements, it's not too overproduced. You can definitely say this is a song that brings the heat. Great song. But now, let's talk about an even greater song. The song that debuted on the 2011 Year on Hot 100 list that was better than any of the other candidates, and is the #1 best hit song of 2011.
You said I wanna see you again, but I'm stuck in colder weather.
Okay, yeah, this is the obvious choice. Sometimes the #1 bestest song of a certain year is near unanimous, and 2011 is one of those years. There was no way any other song was gonna beat out Colder Weather by the Zac Brown Band as the best hit of the year. Honestly, this isn't a song that feels like it should have even been a hit at all. It's the polar opposite of the kind of music that was popular in 2011. Again, this was ahead of the club boom, dominated by artists like LMFAO, David Guetta, Kesha, and the Black Eyed Peas. Most of what the radio was playing, and most people were listening to, was upbeat electropop and EDM. Colder Weather couldn't be any more different from that if it tried. It's a slow country ballad. Again, it really doesn't feel like it should have even been a hit this year. And it almost wasn't. It just barely squeezed onto the 2011 year-end list number 99, and only peaked number 29 in the Hot 100. However, like Where Were You When the World Stopped Turning, the best hit song of 2002, I'm very glad this particular country ballad just managed to make the year-end list, because it's an absolutely phenomenal song, and is easily the best hit of the year. It's also the second time in a row that my #1 bestest song of the year was a beautiful, heartfelt country ballad. And while not quite as tear-jerking as 2010's If I Die Young, Colder Weather is still an absolutely amazing song. It was one of 2 songs by the Zac Brown Band to be a hit in 2011, the other being Knee Deep with Jimmy Buffett. That song is a decent little country ditty with a breezy laid-back groove, though not quite good enough for this list. As for Colder Weather, in terms of both sound and lyrical content, it reminds me quite a bit of I'm Already There by Lone Star, which I talked about in the 2001 video. And honestly, Colder Weather is about on the same level of quality as I'm Already There. They're both tear-jerking country ballads about being physically separated from someone you love and wanting to be with them again. However, in addition to a feeling of loneliness, Colder Weather also has a feeling of coldness to it, pardon the pun. And I mean cold, both in the sense of low temperature and the sense of someone acting jaded. The piano that underscores the song gives me the imagery of a cold winter night. I can just imagine someone sitting inside a dark room, illuminated by a fireplace and some candles, peering out the window and seeing a frigid winter outdoors, with snow falling over an already snow-covered pine forest landscape. And there's plenty of lyrics throughout the song that reinforce that cold winter night in the forest atmosphere, like close the door before the winter lets it cold in, or the night is black as the coffee he was drinking, or I can smell your perfume through these whispering pines. And the other sense of cold is reflected in the lyrics as well, telling a story of a man who ends up leaving his wife or girlfriend in Colorado, despite her hopes that her love will make him stay, and that they'll weather the freezing conditions together. Again, pardon the pun. The man insists after he leaves that he wants to see her again, but the weather is so bad that he can't travel back. Not my first time talking about a heartfelt country ballad about a man wanting to be with his love, but snowy weather preventing him. He asks his partner if he can call her tomorrow when hopefully conditions will be better, but she claims that he won't ever change and was born for leaving. She's definitely acting cold to him, just like how he, perhaps unintentionally, acted cold to her when he left her. And at a truck stop diner in Nebraska, he can't help but reminisce on his partner and think of what he left behind. And you can tell that he's starting to regret his decision to leave. He can still sense her despite being miles apart, and knows that there will be a time when they'll reunite, and he can't wait till then. It's a really heartfelt story, and the poetic lyrics really make fantastic use of imagery and atmosphere. Add in Zac Brown's fantastic vocal performance, some beautiful harmonies on the chorus, a slow crescendo that builds to the bridge, thanks to the guitars, drum beat, and soft pedal steel, and even a violin solo on the bridge, and you have a song that sounds just absolutely phenomenal. It's got a real near-traditional country sound to it, and it's a song that I could honestly see Luke Combs performing. It honestly sounds just like a song that he would sing. You can just close your eyes to this song, and imagine yourself being in a pine forest on a late snowy night, feeling the chilling breeze on your skin, and hear the whistling of the winter winds through the trees. And I also love how in the outro, the song gets quiet again, with the piano once again being the only instrument heard, representing how the man is all alone. There's even a part where the piano isn't being played for a good 10 seconds, again, reinforcing the feeling of loneliness. And at the very end, the guitar and violin come back to play out the song. From start to finish, it's just an absolutely touching piece of music. I said that the #1 bestest song of 2011 is one of the top 10 bestest songs of my lifetime, and I meant it. I'd be a fool to not put this in #1 on this list, and there's absolutely no other song that deserves to be called the #1 bestest song of 2011 more than this one. Terrific job, Zac Brown Band. And that's the top 10 best hit songs of 2011. Man, I think I had the most fun talking about the songs on this list than for any of the other lists in this series so far. That's how awesome the best hit songs of 2011 are. Thanks as always for watching, and be on the lookout for the top 10 best songs of 2012 video. Hope to see you for that. Take care.